Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BB-Scho. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Chen, but today we have a special treat for you. We got a lot to unpack. We're joined once again by Jake to discuss Vikings football and the rest of the NFL playoffs. A little recap of Wildcard weekend and preview the divisional week, and then we'll do our fantasy frenzy draft and then finish with who he played for. But Jake, calling in from Arizona, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hey, I'm chilling. Yeah, I'm on campus here, just soaking in the Arizona sun. Sun's about to set, so we could get a nice little famous Arizona sunset coming our way in the next
Ooh,
hour or
ooh,
so. Kind of
ooh. All
hopefully
right.
I set us up for a good spot there. Other than that, I'm gonna go right into my picks. I wasn't here a couple weeks ago. Last time I was on, your guys' Packers allegedly beat the Minnesota Vikings 41-17. Putting a little asterisk there just because I'm not going to accept that loss. And then your alleged back-to-back MVP looked pretty decent that game, I'll say. But regardless of that, we had a chance at the playoffs. You guys didn't, and it didn't matter. But besides that, my picks here, I went Geno Smith as my NFL MVP, mainly because I feel like if he didn't play at the level he did this past season, I don't think the Bears would be having the number one overall pick. And as a Vikings fan and probably as a Packers fan, we can all agree we're excited that they have that pick so we can see how badly they screw this up yet again, because the Bears
Oh,
are trash. My Offensive Player of the Year award goes to the obvious Justin frickin' Jefferson. Um, Nothing else really to say there. Defensive Player of the Year, probably one of the scariest looking white guys I've ever seen in Nick Bosa. Um, if you're that bulked as a white guy, you're doing something right. So that's where I'm going there. And then offensive rookie, I went Garrett Wilson. Defensive rookie was Sauce, and then coach of the year. For me, it's a toss up between both Doug Peterson and Kevin O'Connell. I have the bias for Kevin O'Connell just because went 13-4. But you kind of expect offensive mind with the offensive talent we have. You can kind of see a 10 plus win team there. But I think he was the fourth or fifth coach to go 13 wins in the first season. It's historic. I think it's awesome. But I'm going to give Doug Peterson the nod. He went from they went from the bottom of the league last year to the top. So that's where I'm going.
yeah, when it comes to O'Connell, your guys' roster is almost so good that it was like anybody but Zimmer that was expected to
Right,
see an
right.
improvement. And I
I don't
honestly,
know
he's
though.
slipped my mind the whole year as a coach of the year candidate, and I think he's a valid choice. I mean, it is a good 1 year turnaround.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I was really hoping for Brian Leftwich last offseason, and after seeing his fiasco of a
yeah,
performance,
jeez.
I don't know if Brian Leftwich would have made the Vikings any better. I don't think he's going to see a coordinator job unless the head coach is not a Sean McVay, Bruce Arians, um, Sean Payton style offensive mind.
That's a good.
Sure, sure.
That's a good point.
No, and the
Yeah.
problem with Brian Leftwich is like, and Kevin O'Connell was Brady's backup, and like I don't actually think he saw game action.
No, I think he was
Byron
the third
Leftwich,
stringer.
yeah, like he was on the team, but he was like sort of on the team, and like
Right.
Byron Leftwich, and not only was he the starter for the Jags for a bit, he had some backup time. I remember with the Steelers, he was Big
Mm,
Ben's backup. He had more time, but I also think he had more confidence in terms of the fact, like, yeah, I already have given my stance on the quarterbacks that former quarterbacks as coaches love to throw the ball, which is not always a bad thing, but it can hurt
mhm.
you in the playoffs. Things don't get going. And well, Brady threw it literally almost 70 times. I love Tom Brady, but even when you watch how things went in New England, that's never how things went down. That was totally all Byron
Yeah.
Leftwich, like, well, I can do well and call these play. We got Tom Brady. Let's throw it every time. And
Yep.
that's obviously, I think, was part of the downfall of Buccaneers this year. But no, I would agree that actually Kevin O'Connell, coaching wise, I think you guys hit there. You did. It's a matter of I think maybe a couple hours ago he fired your DC, like
Yep.
Ed McDonald,
Ed
whatever,
Don
which
Ed
needed to be done.
Donatel. Yep.
Yeah. And hey, you bring
Thank
back
God.
Zimmer as like the DC. That's the dream coaching staff.
He's
But
already
Oh my God.
Zimmer's already the DC for Coach Prime at Colorado.
Is he actually?
Really? No
Yeah.
way.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a complete step down, but like, why? Yeah, that's.
I just want to, before we keep going, if I'm ever a head coach and I get fired, and I don't know if Zimmer has anything left on his contract, if that happens to me, I'm definitely taking the Cliff Kingsbury route and just never coaching again, man, and living in some other country, taking my check until my contract was up, because
he had 2 years left on that contract, so he did get paid out. But he went to Jackson State this past season as an analyst. Plus he was Prime's DB's coach back in the day in Dallas. So there's a connection there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know the interpersonal connections between my Vikings coaches and players. Yeah.
That's the inside scoop right there.
That's deep. Wow.
All right, let's dive in a little bit. I'm not going to overreact to the Geno Smith MVP selection simply because I respect it, and
he's got a point. This team was projected 3 or 4 wins.
Yeah,
yep.
It's there. The argument's there.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree he's not going to win it because he doesn't get the media attention.
No,
but I see it. So let's dive into Wildcard weekend. And Jake, I'll ask you: is there a certain game that you want to talk about at the beginning or the end?
Well, I said it. I said this. I think Sunday night. I said let's just cut the cord early. So I'm going to cut the cord early here again too.
Okay.
It hurt. It definitely hurt. Last time I was on, I was hyping up my team. Give them some love. But my true thought process here is our defense was ranked 31st in the NFL, and we allowed. In the 19 games, that's including the playoff game, we allowed over 400 total yards a game. So it was just not bound to happen. You can have the best offense you could ask for and hope for, but if you don't have the defense to back it up, even if it's you could probably win that. You could probably win that with top 20. But
it's almost like defense matters, man. What a concept.
No, it does. It definitely does. And it's every year people start saying, especially the announcers, start saying the running game and the defense matter in the postseason because everyone's banged up. Everyone needs that break. That's the true formula. A good solid run game, and the Vikings were damn near at the bottom of the league too in the running game. So. It showed in the second half of that Giants game. We just abandoned it. Cook had a great first half, I thought. Could have had over 100 yards, but we ended up getting down a little bit, so we had to force the ball. And then that Giants defense just got more pressure versus the Vikings defense. And when you're running a 4-3 with 3-4 guys, it's hard. When you have Danielle Hunter dropping back into coverage. On X amount of plays, it doesn't make sense. And I think that our DC was one of the guys who was like, you guys are gonna play to my scheme, regardless. He wasn't really scheming his players; he was putting the players in his scheme. So it was a downfall. It was a downfall all season, and I thought we should have fired Donatel after that Lions loss. In my honest opinion, I was hoping for it, but it didn't happen. So I was hopeful going in. But I knew regardless of what happened, playing the Niners wasn't going to be a pretty game. So it is what it is. I'm sad. I'm bummed out. But I guess I'm just sitting on the couch like I am every year as a Vikings fan. So.
Well, I respect the honesty, the loyalty, man. You're a week behind us, so I know your pain. Look, when it comes to the Vikings, I guess I got to flip the question back to you again, and this could be a group discussion, but what's your opinion on the future? Because we got a couple contracts that are about to come up here. In my opinion, the Hockenson trade might come back and really hurt you guys.
I don't see that. The big thing is Hockenson is due $9 million next year. So if you do extend him, the money won't affect this season's cap space.
Is that a team option or a player option?
Team option, I think.
I think 5th year, yeah.
Fifth year.
So it's team option. And obviously you're going to pick that up. But when you look at the defensive side of the ball, we have aging veterans like Harrison Smith, Eric Hendricks, Hicks, our other linebacker, and then you have Zadarius Smith. You could cut him or whatever. Do what you want with him because he's got $13 million you could free up there.
Yeah,
Delvin's got
yeah.
Delvin's got one or
$8
two
million.
left, right?
Delvin's got $8 million you could free up if you cut him. Same with Kendricks. Like all these guys, we could cut like 6 players and open up $50 million in cap.
So I guess my question then to you is,
I'm
do
not
you think
afraid
you
for
can
the
reload this team, especially defensively, before Jefferson's impending contract comes up and with Kirk's money still locked up?
I do. I
and
look
before,
at,
and I'll throw in too, and Hawkinson
mhm.
after next season too.
Right. I definitely have a hopeful look. There's a few defensive guys that didn't get to see much time this season. Caleb Evans was a later round, mid-round draft pick at corner. He played really well, lengthy guy. Andrew Booth Jr., essentially what could have been Christian Watson for us. Andrew Booth Jr., again, he was injured all season. He had the ab injury in training camp. Then he got an ankle injury right away in the season. And then Lewis Seen, who we didn't get to see anything of. I mean, when you're behind Harrison Smith, that's not going to happen. And he broke his leg in the Saints game in London. So he'll be back next year fresh, and he played great with Georgia. So with that, I feel like our rookie draft class last year defensively can just kind of place in our filled holes that we're going to lose this year, and then adding more talent this year in the draft. I think we go heavy defense this year, unless you think giving up a player or two or some draft capital, go get a guy that you think is the guy, like a Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, or even falling back on to see how who's the guy from Florida?
Anthony Richardson.
See if you want to take the possible upside in his athleticism. You could do that at the end of the draft. We could trade back to get more capital. He could fall to the second, third round and get a guy like he's got Malik Willis type athleticism, and have him sit and learn behind a competent quarterback, like Kirk versus like a Tannehill. So I like I like the future. It's possible. And our GM so far hasn't steered me wrong in terms of what he's done. So.
But you are definitely, I mean, it sounds like you are definitely ready to move on from a couple of significant long-time Vikings.
I'm prepared for them to be gone. It's going to hurt because they were my childhood. You know, all these guys, when I started getting into football, like the first game I went to was in 2014 at the TCF Bank Stadium. It was -10 outside, bundled up, little 13-year-old in the cold, standing outside with dad. And I think Thielen blocked a punt. It was just awesome. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I know. I actually know the game.
Special team steal. And
I love it, you know. And Thielen could be gone too. He's due $20 million next year, or $19 million.
Yeah.
He's not worth that money if they cut and re-sign at a better deal, but he could be traded and he could go somewhere like the Ravens. Ravens need a wide receiver. You know, that thought, and like a lot of the beat writers in Minnesota have put that out there, like, do we trade Thielen to, you know, the Ravens, because they have always needed a wide receiver. You could get a third, fourth rounder out of a guy like that just because of his value. You know, he's got hands.
Yeah. I'll go first. I'll let Chen give his analysis too on the Vikings' future. I think obviously you're a little more optimistic than I am. Not to say that I don't trust their GM. I think that you guys have had, you know, championship contending rosters, playoff contending rosters year after year. But I think that there's a lot of things happening at once here. And in 3 to 4 years, this team's going to look completely different. And I am a little worried about incentivizing Justin Jefferson to stay. He might want to test the market when his time comes up. But if he's getting the ball, he probably will want to stay.
I'm big on, obviously, when your team, you're big on looking at everything you can to see what's happening. And Jefferson all season, even in the last offseason, every time he's asked about money, he's like, I don't care, man. It's not my thing. I'm just trying to play ball. I'm trying to win. He's trying to win. Obviously, if you get offered $30 million, you're going to take $30 million. But
Yeah, I
I've
mean, he
forced
can say, I'm sorry,
I've
he
put
can say that all he wants, but literally
he can
every
say it all
other
he wants. He
receiver
can
in the
say it all
league
he
left their
wants.
team this last offseason for money. That guy's
That
better
is
than all of
that
those
is
guys.
yeah, that's true, and I'm not denying that. But I have seen I have a feeling that he's going to do a Brady-esque move where he takes a little less than he's worth to fill in the holes. Get Kirk a better offensive line. Get Kirk some or get our defense allocate some money that way because from what it sounds like in the media, he just wants to win.
I hope you're right, man.
And
I think Minnesota is a good fit for him. But like I said, I don't think that you guys can reload in a year. I think you guys are going to win a lot of games next year. You could run it back and win probably, I mean, at least double-digit games with the exact same
yeah, I
roster.
see us. I
But
saw our opponents, and we have our hard games at home. So that really
yeah,
just
and look, a new DC could change literally everything.
yeah.
That's my hesitation, and a new defensive coordinator could change everything. But I'm interested to hear, Christian, your thoughts on the Vikings cap space situation, draft capital, and their foreseeable, 3 to 4 year future.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'll try to keep things brief because I don't become a Vikings podcast, clearly. But
We
in
do owe
terms,
it to the
I
viewers. We
will.
talk about the Packers.
Yeah, we give like decent amounts of Packers, but like I will give credit to the aspect. I love the in-depth fan, right? Like Jake
Yeah,
knows the guys of the Lewis Cine, right? Like when I bring up Isaiah McDuffie, Rudy Ford, DeAndre Leavitt, all these random names, it's only Packers fans will know. So it's nice to be like, oh, like he's bringing these like obscure Vikings players, like he's a true fan. But nonetheless, in terms of what they got going on, I'm still optimistic in what the Vikings have to do because as cutthroat and brutal as this may sound, I love Dalvin Cook. I love a lot of running
Same.
backs that come through this league. You cut them and free up that money. You could probably sign 2 sufficient starters on that defense, and
We
you're
could we
just
could
fine with
sign
Alexander Madison.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I
could
mean?
sign
Like,
Madison because
give
we
him
could sign
give him
him
whatever
back
he
and
needs.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Just
you
go
got
get him.
Madison.
there's no need to overpay running back when you run. You barely run the ball now with O'Connell.
Exactly. Yeah. And if that's the offense you'll run, go for it. You know, I mean, when I watch back on the just highlights and key plays from the Giants Vikings game, they didn't have a problem moving the ball. There was a couple like the 3rd and 1, I think, when Justin Jefferson, that trick play, whatever, I think was really huge. I think that needs to get, I don't want to say more spotlighted, but there's like key moments in that game where it's like, this team is not a run first team and they don't need to be. So if you get rid of Dalvin Cook, that's fine. What I saw was a lot of nobodies on the Giants getting wide open defensively. So getting rid of the DC was great, but I think literally, if you spend your entire draft just adding guys to the defense, that's all you need. You got your tight end, you got your quarterback, you even got your backup running back to get fill in as a starter, and your receivers are lock solid. It's really just spend the entire draft on defense, man. Maybe you spend a
Yep.
pick on a lineman. I
Yep.
know, especially in that Packer game, when you go down to a 3rd string center, that sucks. But their line wasn't like completely atrocious. It was just they're young. And so, in terms of the future, I even read a report that, like, in terms of like current not dead cap, like salary, whatever, like the Vikings are technically like $20 million below the cap, and the Packers are 16 million. But then I looked at like the contract situations. It's like the Packers have a lot more tough choices. I think the Vikings are going to do some necessary moves. This isn't even me the Zadarius Smith hate. It's just he started off strong, especially I've seen week
Yeah, he
1
did.
playing the Packers.
Yep. And then he fell off, man.
Right. Yeah. He just kind of fell off the face of the earth, and the amount of money he's getting paid, that's why we had to get rid of him. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the 2 guys that are, in my eyes, should be completely just gone, and will obviously play somewhere next season. But Dalvin Cook and Zadarius Smith are just not fits for this roster. And quite frankly, I think you get that money and you can make the roster a lot better, especially given you have a whole draft to go through. The team is 13-4. It was just clearly, I'm not going to reiterate the whole
My
Fico
my
deal,
only
but
my only outlook is yes, we can reload in the draft, and I think we're gonna have to do some trade backs or trade players versus cut them.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 4 picks.
I did not know
year.
that. I did not know that.
We got a first, a third, and 2 5s, I think.
So you're missing your second.
To go get
Hockenson.
Sucks.
Yeah, the 6 and 7. I mean, look, if you have good scouts and whatever, you can kind of make that up. Signing some undrafted free agents, but hopefully the second isn't too major. Really, you just got to hit on that first round pick.
And we're at 23. We're at 23, so we could easily slide back. We could slide back like we did last year and pick up some capital. So I think that's what we'll do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure you don't draft Trey Waynes again, man. That's what comes to mind. Defensively, Xavier Rhodes was great, and then there's Trey Waynes of the world.
Trey Waynes.
Mike Hughes of the world. Yeah.
Mike Hughes. Oh no. Corners are tough to draft, man. Jets lucked out.
They are. One last question.
Jeff Gladney. Yikes.
Yeah, wow. One last question for the group. Keep it short, but can Kirk take him to the promised land?
That's my answer. I don't know. Oh man. He's the same as Matthew Stafford, where everything has to go correct. The Rams had like the 4th ranked defense when they won, right?
Yeah.
And he led the league, and he led the league in picks that year. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing when you look at the minutia of what has to go through. Everything needs to go to plan. Like the whole thing needs to just fall in place. But also, you say that, and you also look at the miraculous comebacks that we had. It's weird. He's a deer in the headlights sometimes. Prime time, you could say yes. You could say, oh, it's a prime time record, but I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if time of day matters, in my opinion. You just go play football. And sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes you don't. Ironically, it's on prime time. I don't know. I'm a ride or die with Kirk Cousins. He's I don't know how you can't like him. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I don't think either of us
he didn't have a bad day.
Yeah, I mean,
let's we're 25 minutes on the Vikings. We got to move on. I'm crying.
Hey, we only got like 4 other games to talk about, so we can spend our time a little bit more than normal. So,
no, that's fine, man. We can keep moving. And my last just comment on that: can Kirk take you to the promised land? Well, if Trent Dilfer can win a Super Bowl, I think anybody can. But that's really all I got to say on that. So that was a Saturday game. Am I correct? There was a game
that was
before
Sunday.
That
was a Sunday, but we skipped to it. The first game was first game of Wildcard weekend. We'll rewind a little bit to Saturday afternoon. Seattle going into San Francisco. Your guys' thoughts here? I mean, it was a pretty tight game at half, and it looked like San Francisco is exactly who we thought they were. Just starting to take over as time goes. As the time.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the little like halftime the Seahawks gave me in like the third, fourth quarter when that game started to get out of hand. I was like, all right, now I can go like run up and pick up some food and get ready for the next game. It was typical, in terms of like. I'm just saying, man. Like it was predictable. That really, if I had to describe that game in one word, it's predictable. No one expected the Seahawks to go in there and win. If they did, it would have been news in a lot, and it really was actually. I think media would talk about Geno Smith's MVP case if he beat the 49ers, that number 1 defense, but they had struggles against them all year. And yeah, it was no shock to me. But I'm curious if you guys had any things that, major takeaways, especially the 49ers next game. They got the Cowboys, who actually they did look good against Buccaneers, but like
anybody can look
the Buccaneers.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's not the same team.
Here's my thoughts on Seattle, man. And for those listening, if you don't follow us on TikTok, go ahead, because I'm giving a grade to every team's season. So the teams are still going, I won't do. But the Seahawks, outside of whoever wins the Super Bowl, are my only A+ in terms of the season they got. They have the 5th overall pick as well as the 20th. They just fleeced Denver, man. They're set up so well. They have a great receiving core. Their defense is you could put some patches on it. I think it was middle of the pack. They got some questions to answer, but they've got the capital to do it. So I don't think the Seahawks could have asked for much more. And I'll say that. I'll let Jake talk before we get to the Brock Purdy discussion. But go ahead.
Yeah. For me, yeah, he was my MVP pick. The Seahawks definitely played a great first half, and like you said, you couldn't have asked for a better season. The way it ended. That's really all I have to say. I mean, the Seahawks obviously were going to come back and make the adjustments needed at half, to make that an actual, realistic game that America thought was going to be. So that's kind of my personal take on that game. It was a 7 seed versus a 2 seed. 2 seed easily could have been a 1 seed in either conference, and is probably going to make it to the Super Bowl. So that's just where I'm at. Yeah, personally.
Yeah, that's well said. So when are we going to start respecting, if we don't already, the Mr. Irrelevant from this past draft? 18 to 40, 330, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, what more does Burrow do than that? What more does Allen do?
Whoa.
We can get into throwing the ball, but on a stat sheet, like, I'm serious. We can get into throwing the ball.
Stat sheet is great. I mean, 13-4 looks good on paper. No offense. I even brought up how, like, this is one of the point, like, circumstances, everything in terms of 12-4 teams. The Raiders were still plus 40, and they were the worst 12-4 team we'd had to date.
Well, let me say this. What I'm trying to say is I think that Purdy played a better game this weekend than Josh Allen.
And that is fair, because I actually, in terms of Bills next week, I have some concerns because Josh Allen can be a little reckless, and it's like you would like that to be toned down, especially in the playoffs. But on the flip side of this thing, yeah, Joe Burrow's got Jamar Chase, but Hayden Hurst is no George Kittle. Joe Mixon he's good. He's also not Christian McCaffrey. And same goes with Josh Allen. Can't tell me Devin Singletary, when he minds. None of those guys are CMC. And, Dawson Knox he's like Robert Tonyan, man. I mean, he's got a game or two that's like good, but like literally Brock Purdy is a big 3 of like top 3 at their position. I guess Debo, you could maybe, have some leeway, but Kittle and CMC are definitely at least top 3 at their positions. And Debo was definitely an established wide receiver 1. And in that Shanahan offense, I want to give Brock Purdy credit. I do, but is that not the best situation you could go into as a quarterback? It shouldn't be taken away for what he's done, but that is the most ideal as it gets. I mean, their line's great. They have the number 1
still
defense
out there throwing balls on target, not turning the football over, commanding the team, going down, leading the team.
Absolutely.
Like, he's still doing it, man. And I just feel like there's one side of the spectrum where everybody's like, oh, this guy's he's just in the best situation ever. Anybody could have success there. And that's just not true.
But that's not true.
Yeah. And then there's the other side where it's like, oh, this kid, he's the next Tom Brady. And it's like, I'm nowhere even close to either one of those sides. No. But the reality is this guy is out there slinging it. And I feel like the majority of people are on the disrespectful side. And I feel like I got to be a little bit of a devil's advocate, because this kid is a really freaking good quarterback right now. And I don't know if it matters who's on his team. It certainly helps him, but I think he would have been better than a lot of starting quarterbacks in the exact same situations in different teams this year. You put him on the Saints this year? I mean, dude, like, I
don't think Andy Dalton in that situation. I think the 49ers are still good. That's my opinion. The Saints even won some games and were close in some games they shouldn't have been. And you have Taysom Hill running at tight end. Now, I think he's underrated, but you get the idea. Like, it's not George Kittle. Michael Thomas is clearly falling off. And I will say this, though. Would Zach Wilson go in this situation this season have success? Absolutely not. And you think of, like, really bad quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And I'll let you take it away, because I'm running out of garbage quarterbacks to compare to. But in terms of Brock Purdy, look, he looks better. Like, we saw what Geno Smith did this year after years of sitting and, coaching and whatnot. And for a guy to come out his rookie year as Mr. Irrelevant and do this, I'm not going to take it away from him. I think I don't even think it's a hot take though, given what you said. He's established himself at least in the Chase Daniel role, where like he's got a minimum 10, 15 season career. Like
Podcast.
he's locked in.
We're
Friendly GCU
campus,
folk.
Yeah, we're getting campus shout out.
It's Thunder. It's our mascot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
No way.
Oh, that hurts.
Talking some football on a podcast with my buddies. Represent.
Yes. Yes.
Love it, man. Appreciate you.
What is it?
I can't right now. I can't right now. Maybe later. I bet you. Yeah.
Hey, there it is.
I found the merch.
Nice.
Thunder, my guy. No, it's all good, man.
People
get back down there soon. Oh yeah, who they play?
I don't even remember. I think it's Utah.
Yeah, no, those basketball
State.
Their stadium's awesome, man. Like the energy and everything. But sorry, no, I'll stop reminiscing.
Yeah, Jake, your opinion on Brock Purdy?
Football, yeah.
Yeah, my opinion on Brock Purdy is conducive to your guys'. I mean, you look at what he's done. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, like all of these top guys. Justin Herbert, he's doing better than or as good as everyone else. The situation's great, everything like that. Now you put a guy who is in the middle tier of the league. Let's say you put I'm trying to think. I guess you could say Andy Dalton, but he's kind of bad. But you could put Tua in that situation.
Yeah,
you put Tua in that situation, and it's a total victory. And they probably go further, but you don't know. All I know is the eye test prevails and wins in this case, and Brock Purdy is possibly that guy of the future if he brings them to the Super Bowl and or wins it. Even the championship game, if they win this weekend, which again I think they will, it's the Cowboys. Yeah, that's kind of just. It's literally like when you guys said at the beginning of the year, "Oh, this guy got hurt. Is this a Tom Brady-esque situation?" I think this is the Tom Brady-esque situation. A valuable veteran gets hurt, and then a late round guy, this guy happens to be Mr. Irrelevant, comes in with that amazing defense, does what he needs to do to win the game, and he's going to go win a Super Bowl. I can't see anything. I don't see them running into Philly with Justin Hurts. Jalen Hurts, sorry. Is Jalen Hurts, is he hurt? Is he healthy? We don't really know if his shoulder's healed up the right way.
He's off the injury report. But yeah, you're right. We don't know.
Yeah. And then you bring it into the fact that the AFC, I mean, they're gunning at every level. But Joe Burrow and that offense, this regular season looked good, but against the Ravens, didn't look great. I mean, you can chop that up to it's a divisional game. They're always going to be tough. And then Josh Allen didn't look great against the Dolphins. Again, divisional round matchup. You can chop that up there. We'll see what Patrick Mahomes looks like. Yeah, you say he's got, Juju Smith-Schuster. He's got Tony. They have McKinnon. But he's been making it happen with these guys. Purdy gets the guys that are the guys. But I think it's going to be that Chiefs-Niners rematch that we from a few years ago. Purdy's good. That's all I want to say is Purdy is just, long story short, he's good.
Yeah. And what's the crazy part is, and we'll talk more about this after the season's over, but I still feel like they're going to get to camp next year, and Trey Lance is going to get his shot. Like, it doesn't matter.
He's going to get a shot.
I think he should, because he brings more to the table. If he can throw the ball just as good as Purdy and then add the running game, I see the vision, But that's a conversation for another day. But go ahead.
You say that, but the way I saw him scramble out of pressure in that first half against San Francisco, that reminded me of like prime Russell Wilson, just scrambling out, doing some 360s in the backfield. Yeah, Purdy.
Okay.
Like that reminded me of prime Russell Wilson, and then finding the outlet guy in the flat.
I don't disagree.
For a touchdown. So it's like he's got that, chop it up. He's a white guy. Are they that athletic compared to the rest of them? And he's skinny. So, but no, he's an athlete. He's a baller, And like you said, I think a couple of weeks ago, this might change the way scouts look at drafting quarterbacks in smaller schools, because talent is everywhere, and this is just showing. So,
I hope
it's a great story.
I hope I'm right because I really do stand by that take. If he wins the Super Bowl, that is, and
Yeah.
we're already seeing the Will Levis hype train starting to pick up, and I'm not buying it.
Zach
But
Wilson 2.0. What is going on here?
well, the thing is, I don't, if he gets put in the right situation, that's not the case. But regardless,
Right.
let's move to Saturday night. Chargers, Jaguars. Christian, take the floor. Dissect this game for us. What's your reaction here?
All right, so I'll just give you what happened. All right, this was my Saturday night. I was dog sitting with the lady. We were watching a guy. His name was Capone. All right, and we were about I don't know, a quarter into that game, and T-Law looked like garbage. So I started to nod off, man. I was just cuddle up, and I wake up like halfway through the third quarter. Like, yeah, I'm hungry. Go get some food. Oh, you know what? I should check the game. Like she was watching like some reality stuff on Netflix, right? And I'm like, oh, it's coming back a little bit. I go to Burger King, pick up some
Some
burgers,
Whoppers,
some
Whopper,
pies.
Whopper.
Yeah, Whopper. No, not sponsored by Burger King. But I get back and I check my phone. I'm like, wait, this is a game. And so I put it on, and the collapse. I've never. Well, first of all, I don't know if Brandon Staley still has a job today. I thought
Does
at some point he'd get canned within a 48-hour window. But wow, that was it was electric. It sucks that now they have to go into Arrowhead because I'd like to see this team play on. I think they're gonna be extremely good next year. And it's just some of the plays that Doug Peterson was drawing up. I know the 4th and 1 gets
loved it.
really
so
highlighted.
good.
Wow. Just great.
Yeah, and people are really saying that like because they saw Asante Samuel Jr. was like not good tackling wise. They had that play in like their back pocket and stuff like that. But that's what a Super Bowl winning coach does. And well, I'd say he's already got one. And I'm not saying the Jaguar Super Bowl is in the near future, but they definitely got this higher right, especially in terms of you have, I would say, similar to a prospect in Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
He's like already become very. He's not sloppy with the football. Even with like our elite guys like Josh Allen, even Stafford won a Super Bowl, leading the league in picks. Like I got to give that Jaguars team a lot of credit. They are going to be they're already my prediction to win the South next year, but they're going to be somebody. They're going to be somebody, man. I feel like looking for the next Bengals. I had the Dolphins in mind, but after seeing what I saw with the Jags, maybe they're it. But
I want to rebuttal that. If
yes,
playing,
I would like to.
Yes.
if Tua's playing the way that Josh Allen and the Bills played, do the
You think
Dolphins
they win
win
that game?
I think they do.
Yeah, 100%. I think they do.
Skylar
100%.
Thompson was atrocious. He was actually like, yes, you can't expect a whole lot from a guy like that, but stat line wise, there's no way Tua is anything close to that bad. So the fact the game was close, I actually will concur with you that the Dolphins probably would have moved on. So we would be looking at a very different script for this AFC playoff picture. And that's why I'm actually excited to see your guys take on the Bills this weekend. But yeah, in terms of what you saw, Chargers, Jags, I will give you guys the floor.
For me, I don't want to cut you off, Caleb. If you want to go ahead, go ahead. But
No, you can go.
You know where I'm.
I got a lot to say. So
You know where I'm about to go.
I know I'm gonna have to rebut. You guys ever see those memes before you go, Jake? You ever see those memes where it's like, who's that NFL player that you're defending like this, and it's like a mountain of words. And I
Oh yeah,
that guy is becoming Justin Herbert. So
just out of nowhere.
With the floor, go ahead and
I'm gonna wait because Chen had to go away. Chen had to take a little break, so I want him to hear this. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the Dolphins here real quick.
Yeah,
and we were on the same page. We're all on the same page there. But yeah, Skylar Thompson played horribly. I think I turned the game off at the third quarter just because I knew somehow Josh was going to come back and win it. And just some of these throws he was making, I'm like, this is hard to watch. They couldn't have found a guy off the streets. Like, they couldn't have went and got Fitzmagic. I mean, come on. That guy is definitely ready to put on a suit and go play. They could have done something better.
And then I don't know if it was this game or what, but when I forget the coach. What's his name? Um,
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels. I keep
Yeah.
thinking of Josh McDaniels, but Mike McDaniels. When we saw him with the little
yeah,
vape
I
hit,
saw
I mean, maybe some of the plays were getting out there a little discombobulated,
that.
and he didn't know, and he couldn't hear him, so maybe there was a little bit of that. But and my take overall is that the Dolphins could have played better and would have won. Now that Chen's back, I got to get into my Chargers here. So I don't know if you guys know, or I don't know if Chen knows, but I have conversations with Caleb pretty regularly, especially when the Chargers fail. Makes me happy. I just don't know why. I just, it's not that I hate the Chargers. I love Philip Rivers. I mean, he's a great guy, nice Christian man, went to Christian school. Fits the bill. He's a good guy, But I just hate Herbert. I just can't stand it. I just can't.
You got to at
And I'm
least
so
explain
happy.
why, because I've actually never.
Yeah, I
heard
will
of
explain why. I'm just so you see my face right now. It's just got so much just happiness to it because I can finally put my take out there. There's a few reasons. Number one, and this is the lesser reason. I just want to get this one out there. Is he stole the Rookie of the Year from Jefferson? That's just one of them. That's just one thing. Total quarterback award. Jefferson did something historic, 1,400 yards as a rookie, and that was still when we played 16 games. Imagine it, and he didn't even start the first 2 games of that season. I digress on that point. Number two
I could
is
tell you why he didn't start if you want me to.
It's Mike Zimmer, 100%.
No,
there was
he
rookies don't play.
He didn't know the playbook. Yeah, you heard it here first. But
I mean, Justin Herbert started because of a punctured lung. I mean, Tyrod Taylor got screwed. Come on, no one's talking about that.
We're on a tangent, but yeah.
Anyway,
that's what I've heard about why Jefferson didn't start the first 2 games of his record.
Anyway, besides that point, we got a little inside scooper over here with Caleb.
Keep it on the down low, guys.
You look at Herbert's record; it's nothing to write home about. His rookie year, 7-9. They were 9-8 last year, and I think they finished 9-8 again this year. I mean, he's at 500 or barely above. In this case, he's 1 game above 500 as his career, and now he goes and loses a playoff game up 27-0. I think is. Let me check my 27-0.
Yeah.
You can get plays called in, and all that. Like you can blame it on the offensive coordinator, the play caller for not doing a great job. But when you're up 27-0 and you can't execute plays for a whole second half, regardless if you're on the road or not, and you can. I mean, like the Colts did it. I mean, this is just a gross thing, especially in the playoffs. 27-0, third greatest comeback of all time. That should have been a 45-14 game with, Justin Herbert being the godsend of a generation. I mean, it's not – he's Kirk Cousins 2.0. He's baby Kirk. He's young baby Kirk. If he doesn't have the coach –
Dude, if Justin Herbert had Justin Jefferson, he would have got to 2,000 yards this year.
Would he have won the playoff game? I don't think so.
Yes,
I don't think so.
Go on. I'll let you finish.
Their defense ranked near the bottom. They didn't have. I mean, they had their run game was okay at the end of the season. Eckler's a god. I'm putting the screen game as a part of the run game.
Counts as run, yeah.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, that's where I'm going here. Eckler was the MVP of that team, I think, at the end of the year. Without Eckler making the plays he did near the end of the stretch, they don't make the playoffs and they miss it. That's just my personal take. I've never been a Herbert guy. He's a numbers guy. Every generation's got a numbers guy. This is this generation's numbers guy. This is their Philip Rivers. He's going to get you 60,000.
That could be true. I'll give you that. When it all said and done, I don't know if Herbert's going to win a championship or do anything significant if he stays in the Chargers. But in terms of this game and why I really have a hard time putting this on Herbert, they get up 27-0. From that point on, they had -3 rushing yards for the rest of the game. That's not on Justin Herbert, man. That's on Brandon or Joe Lombardi, who's already gone. They struggle to run the ball all year. The extended run game with the screen game and why Eckler's a touchdown god and a fantasy legend, that's partially Justin Herbert's thing or credit. I do agree. The quarterback does take blame when you have a situation like this. But look, I all your disdain for Justin Herbert, I share in the exact same way for Brandon Staley. So I actually know exactly where you're coming from. I just direct it in a different place when it comes to watching this Chargers team. But they get up 27-0, man. They were up 27-0 in the first half. He threw the ball 43 times. Eckler had 13 rushes, and Joshua Kelly had 7. They ran the ball 20 times compared to nearly 50 or 43 passes, sorry. But they passed the ball twice as much. When you get up that much, that should not be the case. But they can't run the ball. On top of that, and I think we can all agree, Keenan Allen, well, we can talk about the Mike Williams decision because he apparently broke his back in week 18. So he was
nice job, Staley.
Yeah, we
Way
can have
to
that.
go.
We can have that discussion too on why this falls solely on Brandon Staley. But the reality is Keenan Allen. I think we can all agree took a step back this year. We don't know if he's ever going to be on the field. Herbert, he's not going to do anything. I agree. He's a numbers guy until he can get some offensive help because he's got none. And then their defense just completely disappeared in the second half. I think Staley came out with a great defensive game plan. He's a defensive guy. Obviously, you get 4 first half interceptions. I mean, that's a pretty good game plan. But I hear where you're coming from, but I really don't know. Herbert didn't do anything to lose this game. They had 1 3-and-out in the second half. They were moving the ball. They just could not. They missed a kick. Then they made the second one. The reality is you don't win games, and we just had this discussion. You don't win playoff games in January if you can't run the ball. And -3 rushing yards from the time that you get up 4 scores or 27 points is just atrocious, man. That's just absolutely atrocious. And your superstar finishes the day with 13 carries for 35 yards. I don't care about the 2 touchdowns. I don't. That 13 carries for 35 yards is unacceptable. Team average of just under 3 yards a carry is unacceptable. When you have to throw the ball that much, you're not going to win a lot of games. Go look at the Vikings. It's the same, they got away from running the ball like they have been. Go look at the Bucks, right? You're not going to win playoff games. So it's not a good time to be a Justin Herbert defender, but I will do the best of my ability. But how about the Jaguars? And I'll go first on this one. Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, man, this is one of the best games I've ever watched. To see a young quarterback in his first playoff game, after rallying to win the division, show up and throw 4 first-half interceptions, then turn around and throw for nearly 304 touchdowns in the second half. The absolute gall that takes is absolutely unbelievable. And this guy, I'm sorry, you have another big Mount Rushmore type guy contending in the AFC every year from now on, so long as he stays paired with Doug Peterson. It's going to be, we always say, oh, it's Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow. Throw in Lawrence, man. Throw in Lawrence because they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't think it's this year. We'll talk about them going into Arrowhead. But when they get Calvin Ridley, look out because that's all they're missing is that number 1 superstar weapon.
Yep. I got nothing else to say with that. I mean, you summed that up perfectly. And I love that you hate the Charger situation. Just in a different spot. I wish we could see eye to eye here. But no, I 100% I agree with that, especially that Calvin Ridley. I mean, that trade at the time was like, oh, well, what? The guy's not going to play till next year. Look where they're at right now. They're in the hunt. I mean, they made that trade looking like they were just ready to prepare for next season. Throw the cleats in a locker box on the bottom of the thing, whatever, and just ride or die, get a top pick. But no, they rallied. Doug Peterson, great coach. I didn't like how he finished in Philadelphia. I thought that whole thing kind of sucked, but I mean, he's redemption here. And I just I'd like to see it. I like to see it. Just like the underdog franchise. I mean,
Dude,
they haven't had anybody.
If Doug Peterson wins Philly's first Super Bowl ever and then goes to Jacksonville and does it, I'm sorry, we have to have a discussion with him as the greatest coach of all time. These are 2 of the
Hall of Fame resume right there.
The historically worst franchises ever in the playoffs, man. Collapses after collapses. And if he does it right now, this is going on the tangent that he wins in Jacksonville, which is a lot to ask. But
Bro got
Jen.
Nick Foles a statue. I mean, that's
Yeah.
already kind of like,
Yeah,
wow, this guy's up there.
Yeah. Doug Peterson is Tom Brady's grandpa. I mean, it's literally what it is.
They totally have Thanksgiving together. I would not be shocked.
Christian, your thoughts on Jacksonville's rally and future?
Oh no, I kind of brushed on it earlier. Like they're set up. It really is just the best way to put it. If I was crafting like a Madden franchise, I'd be cool with this team right now. A lot of young superstars that are only going to get better. You got your coach, which I guess not to spend too much more time on it, but what would you add to this team? I mean, you can add whatever defensively, veteran wise, but like internal improvement, I even think.
I mean, they're good. They're stacked. They have a great linebacker, Josh Allen, as an edge rusher. Their run game is solid. I mean, maybe add a safety or a corner. I mean, you can never have enough of that. And then they're set until you have to pay
up the
Trevor
defense,
Lawrence.
And that's really all you got to do. Like it in terms of like what you can do. You got your position groups in terms of skill wise. You got Ingram, Kirk, Ridley.
And then I got a receipt here. I don't want to cut you off, but the receipt states that maybe Davis Mills is a better prospect than
that's a great receipt.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hey, at the time, the receipts prior to said receipt.
No, there was never.
It was a terrible take at the time.
Never.
There's no
the stats and the numbers were there. They were there.
They
and I'm gonna stand by it.
Guys, go listen to the podcast. I read the numbers and they weren't even there.
They were. Trevor Lawrence had, I think, a pick or more.
Put that one up there with Marcus Smart over Zach LaVine, and we're in the same boat. All right.
That's sometimes not the same boat. That is not
sometimes
the same
we say
boat.
Things that are really bad.
No, and I'm gonna stand by mine, bro. And even if it's like bad per se, like we knew the Lovie Smith situation. We knew the Texans were trying to lose, and Davis Mills is still above. Like he's at least a top 20 quarterback. He's better than Mariota. Right off the gate, better than whoever the Saints have. I could probably keep going. Like he's literally
not the Red Rocket.
You think of poverty franchise.
He's not better than Andy Dalton, man.
I think Davis Mills would love to have Kamara and Taysom Hill, Michael Thomas.
There are quarterbacks who are not playing right now that are better than Davis Mills.
If Josh McCown, I would take Josh McCown.
I would pump the brakes on Josh.
Over.
I was morally referring to Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'm Josh McCown's kind of fire, bro. He's kind of fire. I think he could still play. Every time he plays, he's good.
Okay, we're moving on. Jake touched on Bills Dolphins, but Christian, your thoughts here? I mean, they only won by 3.
Right. I think that's kind of the well, we'll get into those picks. But I have 2 upset picks of the week in terms of Vegas odds. Bills Bengals. I don't really think you can say somebody's a favorite just because Bills have home field. I mean, both teams were, in my opinion, unimpressive. I understand both played divisional matchups. But like the Bengals didn't really score and as much, as I think they would. And Bills were just sloppy. Plain and simple. They've just been sloppy. If they don't clean it up, they will lose to the Bengals. But yeah, in terms of Dolphins, like next year is going to be the year. They got their coach. They just need a quarterback. They need to know who their quarterback is going each week. Like it was like week to week. It's like it's Tua, and then it's Tua and he's concussed, and then it's Teddy Bridgewater, and then he gets hurt, and it's Skylar Thompson. And then maybe it's Bridgewater, maybe it's Tua. You can't do that all year, especially in the playoffs. The fact it was close just really speaks volumes, and the fact that the Dolphins are set up for the future. It's just, Buffalo, Bengals. I think one of those teams is probably going to go. I think one of those teams might get to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to get past Kansas City, but we'll see. We'll see.
Future outlook, when you said quarterback-wise for next year, how do we think about the Mike McDaniels and the Jimmy Garoppolo connection there? Bring him in as a backup. If
Why
you
not?
have this Tua problem where he's hurt every year so far, and he's getting these concussions every other week, a human being can't sustain that many concussions. Let alone like all the little mini concussions that you're going to get in just basic practice or just games in general that you're just not going to report, that obviously aren't going to be looked at or seen by the public eye.
Yep.
Do they bring in a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo who has that connection with Mike McDaniels, his former OC, just in case? I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo has the embodiment of a Miami quarterback. Just looking, I mean, it's just the style of the city. I mean, you could see him there.
Oh my
um,
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Playing in the
Oh my
weather,
gosh.
Fits every
Four-star
bill,
Jimmy,
man.
But I think that could be a possible outlook. But in terms of the game, if we're going into the game picks, I mean, yeah, there's Bengals, Bills. I mean, I have Bengals. I mean, the way that defense looked last week for the Bengals looked just elite, like they're primed to win a Super Bowl. And that offense didn't look great, but again, chop that up to a divisional round matchup.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on Bengals Ravens? Are you just chopping it all up? We can all.
Yeah, I'm just chopping it up to that
division matchup.
matchup. And then my favorite quarterback, if Lamar's in and he's healthy, no sprained, I think PCL, Ravens win. They win. They don't fumble the ball.
The Sam Hummer 98-yard touchdown. Like,
they don't fumble the ball on the goal line like they did. They're in. So, but in this case, I give the Bengals the edge just because I feel like Joe has that I'm going to win it factor. Even though Josh is great, he was there. Josh hasn't been there, right? The Bengals were in the same situation last year, surprised the world. And they were half a second away from winning the Super Bowl. If their O-line was just that better, they would have had that touchdown. Jalen Ramsey was on the dirt. That's one of the things I replay in my head, like sports plays, like what could have been sports plays. That replays in my head all the time. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, so I think we're going in with a Bengals victory over the Bills. It's gonna be an upset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on that one.
Last game, and we'll get into our picks, like our official picks, but last game, Cowboys Bucks from Monday night. Your guys' thoughts here. And
I forgot about this game. I'm sorry. I forgot about this game.
There's a lot to forget. I do want it on the record. I texted Christian on Friday and decided to change my pick to the Cowboys.
Yep.
Christian can vouch for me on that.
I vouch too.
I guess I texted Jake too. And my reasoning behind it was the entire public was on Tampa Bay, and I felt like it was bait. So I was right.
Dude, if it's Tom Brady, bro, I'll take the bait. I've been burned too many by the likes of Brady and LeBron that anytime I bet against them, I lose. So until they are in the nursing home, I'm not going to bet against them.
Cowboys, first road playoff win in 27 years. Does it mean anything to you guys next week or no?
No.
They're done. It was a great moral victory, but they're done. I mean, they lost to San Fran last year. They're going to lose this year, man. Oh, there's no chance. No way.
I mean, that was a close game.
Way. And it was in Dallas. It was in Dallas last year. Yeah. No chance, man.
So with the switch, for those keeping score at home, me and Christian are still tied.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, with the Cowboy switch. You got the Giants. I got the Cowboys.
I got the Giants.
We got every other game right. Jake actually picked. He lost on the Seahawks, Vikings, and Bucks. He hit on the other three. So 4-2. Because there's 7 games. But me and Christian, 165 and 112 for the both of us. So we're still all locked up and all square headed into the divisional weekend.
I can't believe it.
Love it. If this might be, your Super Bowl might be the deciding factor here. Like the Super Bowl might predict who wins this. So
that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Wow.
It's like technically week.
What are the odds of this?
I don't know. This is quite the race headed down. But that takes us, Chen. I'll give you the floor. Jaguars going into Arrowhead. Who you got?
Oh, well, I did pick the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year, so I'd be a clown and not ride with that, especially with my Davis Mills backlash. I need to restore some of my reputation. So, yeah, I'll just ride with that, say I called it. And, I mean, look, it's the Chiefs. You got Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. It's what they do. Yeah, it's the Jags. I really think that they're bad. It could be bad beat is going to be in the conference championship, whoever gets out. I'm curious because I believe they lost to both Cincinnati and Buffalo this year, if I'm not mistaken. I do remember them losing to the Bills for sure. But yeah, I don't think I love what the Jags do. I just don't think they get past this Chiefs team. There's just not enough experience, plain and simple. Chiefs have been there for years. I mean, they're always in this position. It's really fresh territory for the Jags since the Blake Bortles era.
That's fair. Jake?
No, go ahead. I'll go
Yeah.
last on this.
Okay, you go last. That means you're probably taking the Jaguars. So, yeah, I'm a little bit on the fence. I'm a lot closer than you guys, but the reality is this is a 9-point spread, and I'd be a fool to bet against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I'm very tempted to take Jacksonville. I really am very high on them right now. They're the hottest team in the AFC, maybe in the entire playoffs, except for San Francisco. But to bet against the Chiefs in Arrowhead in the playoffs, if they're not playing Tom Brady, I think it's dumb. So I'm going Kansas City.
All right. We're swinging it over to me.
Yeah.
Now, you guys
Do it.
think
Do
I'm
what
going
I could
upset
do
here.
what I didn't have the strength to do.
You guys just think I'm going upset here, and the truth is I'm not. No, I'm not. You wanted it. The fans probably wanted it. Everyone loved it. Underdog. But I went with the underdog route last week. I mean, didn't work out for me. So I'm sticking here. The public had other people winning. I had them losing. So I'm sticking with the public. But I also want to say this. Divisional round has a place in my heart for eternity because this guy here, was at the Chiefs-Bills game last year. And that
I
game
remember that.
was historic. It was
I can't
amazing.
believe you're actually there.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
beautiful.
This kid
when
just like
Tyreek screamed across the field, and my dad even like bucked up and got some good seats. We were in the 100 level, right behind, like right in the end zone area. Like, holy shit, like good seats. Excuse my language, but I mean, this warrants it.
Worth.
Beautiful, beautiful game. And it's 35 degrees. Chiefs fans were great. I was wearing my Stephon Diggs Bills jersey, but I got some hot chocolate from some Chiefs fans. Just great guys, great environment. But the tomahawk chop prevails. That's their little slogan. It's like the skull chant, but they go tomahawk chop. I absolutely love it. Chiefs win here. Cover the spread. 9 points.
Wow.
I don't know. I think it's going to be close. I don't think.
Yeah. I'm taking.
Yeah,
I will be taking Jacksonville covered on.
Yeah, they cover.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a huge spread for a playoff.
That's
game.
a
It's
lot.
huge. It's huge. That's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Man.
it's crazy that I'm doing this, but yeah, I'm taking them. I really think that the Jaguars could with the momentum they have, but again, it's Patrick Mahomes. Tell you from me otherwise. And then like you said earlier, you're taking Brady until he goes to the nursing home. I'm taking Brady in the nursing home. He might outlive everyone in the nursing home. Him and bingo, him and croquet, whatever you call it, Brady's winning. So it's just, I got Mahomes.
All right.
So yeah,
Giants going into Philadelphia. Your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, anyone else can go first.
all right. I'm gonna go first. I got the bad blood here. Truthfully though, I like the Giants. What's not to like about it? You know, I could have sat here and everyone could have been like, "Oh, Vikings fans gonna cry and moan, and hate the Giants." No, I love the Giants. Still not taking them though. It's Eagles. They have the team. They have the unit. But again, it's a divisional matchup, and especially in the divisional round, this is it's a night game too next Sunday night. So this is going to be America's watching. This is prime time. This is going to be a beautiful game. I think it's closer than I don't know what Vegas has it, but I think it's closer than what Vegas is going to have it at. And I think it's a field goal. I really do. I think it comes down to a field goal. Nothing um, too large of a victory there. Saquon has a day. Daniel Jones has a day. I don't know if they're going to go as great in the air as they did against the Vikings. We couldn't stop a nosebleed. So it's just, yeah, I got Eagles by 3, but it's close. It's close.
Okay. Christian.
I'm glad you mentioned that I was going to be close because, I always have one of these, the upset of the week.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You're taking my thunder.
What?
Oh.
No way. I thought I was biased because my brother-in-law is a Giants fan. But in terms of the legitimacy of it, we just harped on really the Bengals and Bills being contenders and struggling with, division opponents. And we all know this is going to be a very close game, whether it's in Philly or not. Jalen Hurts, we haven't seen him, in terms of like full strength. I guess week 18 against the Giants backups who, oh, that's right. That game was actually kind of close. And the Daniel Jones era has been pretty great in terms of lately. He just went over 300 yards. I would agree that the Vikings defense is nothing close to the Eagles, but in the same breath, they were able to throw the football, and that's something we haven't seen all year. As long as the Giants kind of stay true to what they are, they have the ability to pass. They've been able to hang with anybody. Am I shocked? Like if, they get blown out? Not necessarily, because the Eagles are clearly, in terms of roster, talent, whatever, a better team. But we've seen this a lot in the playoffs before. And the Giants do this like every couple of, maybe like 5, 6, I don't know how many years. Usually it's when Brady's still around, but they just get good for some reason as like a low seed. And it bothers me, especially the 2007, like that was the last probably good chance we're gonna have like an undefeated team, especially the way players are with resting and whatnot. And we got robbed of it because of the Giants. So like, as much as it's just weird, it's history. It's history. We see with like the Vikings, even the Packers with their garbage first round exits lately. Like you can't deny history. And so I'm gonna go with the Giants. And I might look like a bozo, but a lot of things are just pointing to the Giants this week.
So this right now, and this might be a hot take, but I think whoever wins this game comes out of the NFC. I think these are my two favorite teams in the NFC. Nobody's hot on the Eagles right now, and I really don't know why. I mean, what more could they have done this year to improve? Everybody's nervous about Hurts. I think if they either show up and they blow out the Giants, and then they go to the Super Bowl, they beat San Francisco, and they go to the Super Bowl. And for all the reasons that you just said that the Giants might do it, I'm taking it a step further. I think that if they can beat the Eagles, they can beat the Niners, and they can go to the Super Bowl. This is just what the Giants do. They sneak into the playoffs, they win 3 road games, and then they go win a Super Bowl for no reason at all, and then they disappear for 5 seasons and do it all over again. It's truly incredible. For the sake of the game, I think I'm going to take the Eagles here. I originally was going to take the Giants because I thought it was going to differ from you, but I am going to take the Eagles here. They're a 7.5-point favorite, but I really wanted to take the Giants. But for the sake of our game, playing a different
take them, man. Spread. If you feel that strongly, just take them. Be bold.
No.
Be bold.
Guys. When Christian takes a risk, I can't take it with him. Okay, I need him to either die on that hill or live on that hill. Right? This is strategy, man. It's strategy. I think it's going to be close enough that I'm perfectly fine going the other way, if that makes sense. But I do know it's very hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. And considering, like he said, they won by 8 points 2 weeks ago when they were playing their starters.
Davis Webb.
Yeah. So, look, I'll go with the Eagles, but I wouldn't be shocked. So I'm guessing Jake said he's on the Bengals.
I am too.
Oh,
yeah. I'm on the Bengals too. Okay. I'll be the guy to say it.
You get the Bills at home.
I'm taking the Bills at home. Okay. And we talk about how the Bills struggled last week, and they did against a divisional opponent. The Bengals did too, guys. Like, it's not like that Burrow played this masterclass game like Trevor Lawrence did, where he looked incredible. He threw for 200 yards. and 1 touchdown. Mixon, this is my number one concern. The Bengals lost another O-lineman in this game. They're now going to be starting another 5 that they haven't, a new combination, which they've done however many weeks in a row this year, right? And Mixon had 30 rushing yards. Now, the number one thing on how to win games in the playoffs, run the ball. So I'll take the home field. I'll take the Bills here. It's a tragedy that we didn't get to see this game a couple weeks ago, right? But I'm also riding with a little bit of the Cinderella story here when it comes to the Bills going to the Super Bowl in the AFC, based on what happened in that last time, the Bengals and the Bills. I could see the Bills finally getting over their Super Bowl woes in the 90s in honor of Damar Hamlin. But maybe I'm just...
You're seeing the problem here, right?
What?
The idea that we're currently tied. No way. If any of you guys pick the Cowboys, be my guest. And we both just split on Eagles, Giants, and Bengals, Bills. And I guarantee you we're going to split. I don't know which way, but I almost would put money down. Like, it's going to split, and we're going to go into conference championships tied again.
That we split.
There is no guarantee, but this is how the seasons went. It is.
Hey, man,
this is how. I'm not telling you to change your pick. I'm just telling you, like, this is exactly like we are going to line up to the Super Bowl and have to pretty much flip a coin for who gets what team to decide who gets these picks, because this is typical. Yeah, I don't know, Jake, if you have any more to add on the game itself. I just loved what the Bengals were doing before the Damar Hamlin situation, and
right.
We've seen it, from them. But I'll give you the floor.
Way I look at it is the Bills and their prominent great defense allowed 31 points to a 7th-round quarterback who's trash. Somehow they got 31 up on the board, or 30, whatever it ended up being. And the equalizer, the great ultimate equalizer, as I said it earlier in the game, is defense in the run game. Now, on it, obviously, that Joe Mixon in the run game hasn't been great, but they allowed 17 points.
Look, I'll say this. You guys are chopping up the Ravens close game, the divisional matchup, and all of a sudden when I do the same thing with the Dolphins, it's a bad thing.
Chop it up.
Both teams started a backup quarterback.
And if you harp down hard on stopping Josh Allen from using his legs and he just has to throw it, that's fine, because the Bills themselves don't have another option at running back. Right? Their running back.
I disagree. They've been very good the last 6 weeks in traditional running. I wish I could pull up the advanced stats, but they, in my opinion, they've taken a step.
I've seen a lot of James Cook highlights, so I could be wrong.
I don't disagree. Like the core of the take is still there, but I do think that they have taken a step forward when it comes to literally giving the ball to a running back and not just letting Josh Allen do absolutely everything.
Right.
But
again,
look,
I'm hard on my take.
Bills or Bengals win. I want them to beat the Chiefs, man. Like, I like the Bills and the Bengals a lot more than I like the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl again. So, to me, that's just just personal bias. But okay, are we all taking the 49ers?
Yeah, we don't got to spend any time on this.
Cowboys not only are cursed.
What's crazy is this is the closest spread. This is the closest. Oh, I don't know what the Bills-Bengals is. This is San Fran -4.
It would be. It would be, because I feel like the general public has that Brock Purdy hesitation, but as we've touched on before, the NFL just combine in general, the way they evaluate QBs and even the draft process needs to be reevaluated.
Oh, yeah.
And just watching this guy play, we know what's coming.
Ripped guys in shorts throwing footballs needs to stop being the way we analyze quarterbacks.
I got nothing to add.
I'm excited just to see the Cowboys crash and burn like they do, I don't know, since the 90s. So
yeah, the pigs will fly before the America's team gets back to the end.
Yeah, who decided that? Oh my gosh.
Okay.
The Vikings will make a Super Bowl before America's team gets there.
Yeah, so
I'll even agree with that. I'm a Packers fan.
I don't disagree though. But all right, that takes us to Fantasy Frenzy. So recapping last week,
Oh boy.
This was it ended up not being very close, Christian. You had 151, I had 121. You hit on basically everything except Keenan Allen, who still had 12 points. TJ Hawkinson was a big hit for you. And then Saquon had 27 points. But that you have about a 100-point margin going into the divisional round, so I'm going to have to make up points. I can't catch you in wins anymore, but I do get the first pick, and Jake will be drafting a team with our leftover scraps. But I think you know who I'm taking. I'm taking Travis Kelce first overall. Might be the last time I do it this year, but who knows?
That's a shocker, man. Are you sure you want Travis Kelce at number one? Like, you don't. I'll give you a do-over.
No, I'm good, man.
Pick it.
All right. I guess I gotta go somewhere if you really want to do that. I'll take. You know what? I'm gonna double down on my Bengals. I really think they're gonna ball out. I'm gonna take Jamar Chase. I'm just really confident in the fact, like, it's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, man. Like at LSU in the playoffs, they did big things. In the NFL, I'm really expecting no different. And it's really kind of reigned true. So I'll lock in that wide receiver one right there. Kick it back to you.
Yeah, I'll take Christian McCaffrey with no hesitation. I mean, no, absolutely no hesitation. I'm surprised you even let him come back.
Wow.
I like McCaffrey, man. I just don't think the Niners are going to need to throw it to him as much. I think the Cowboys are just.
Yeah, he had 120 yards rushing last week. So
right, yeah, no, and I'm just saying, like, I know we do PPR scoring. I really think like Jamar is going to have a massive day.
I don't disagree. I mean, Jamar Chase isn't a bad pick, but
no.
I'll assess afterwards why I'm surprised. But go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to then snag up a running back here, so I don't get left in the dust. Take Saquon just for the floor alone. Especially I'm gonna take the Giants. He's gonna have to have a great day. So lock that out real quick.
Very solid. I'm gonna follow that up with Stephon Diggs. Get my wide receiver one out of the way. Look, if I'm gonna ride with the Bills, and I do think Chase has a good day, but if I'm gonna ride with the Bills, Diggs is gonna have to have a good day too. So.
No arguing on that. And considering what he gave me last week, I'll roll with him again. CD Lamb. I know this is. I don't want to say it's a sleeper pick, but it's like I feel like a lot of people when they think of coming to mind, it's not like off the top of your head has been amazing. He's been very good this year. So slot him in at wide receiver too.
Solid pick. I'm gonna go a little unconventional here, but this is a really big strategic play. This might actually hinder Jake more than anybody, but I'm taking George Kittle for my flex. I don't think there's another good tight end for you to take, so I'm going to try and go for position dominance.
I guess I'll take Evan Ingram later. Let's see. It's flex, running back. You know what? I think this is pretty clear. Even though I didn't take him to win, in my eyes, they'll be down. So they'll have to throw to A.J. Brown. And I'll lock him in as my flex. We'll still keep searching for that RB2 and keep it going.
That's a solid pick. That throws me off my game a little bit. I thought I'd be able to get him on the way back. But
no, sir.
This is very, very, very interesting strategy now. Very, very dicey. I have a guy that I might take as my wide receiver too, but I don't know. So I'm gonna grab my RB2 here. This is interesting, and a very, very risky play. But I'm gonna take Miles Sanders in what I believe could be a game where they need to run the ball. But it was between him and a couple other guys. But go ahead.
Okay. No, I definitely hope they run the ball. I'll just go a little bit safer here. Take Travis Etienne. Sorry. Yeah, no, he wasn't gonna fall. So it's too much farther.
I hope he'd slide, man. I hope he'd slide.
I don't know if I like it.
He's been one of Trevor Lawrence's best friends in terms of just college buddies, all that good stuff. Kick it back to you.
Zeke. God dang it.
Interesting. Okay, I gotta make a choice here. And you know what, man? I'm gonna play it safe. Give me Patrick Mahomes. I'm not thinking twice about my quarterback here. I can't go wrong taking Patrick Mahomes. So
Fair take. Fair take. I'll just follow up and go Josh Allen then. I already expressed my concern with Jalen Hurts. I could get proved completely wrong here, but no, I'll keep rolling with the guy in Buffalo.
Okay, I'm gonna do something a little unconventional here. Well, it's not that unconventional, but I'm gonna take what I think could be a situation where a guy makes a lot of kicks because he's playing a solid defense. And since you're locked out at wide receiver and that's all I need left, I'm going to take Robbie Gould.
Nice. Evan Ingram. Let's go all in on the Jags this week. Why not, man? Hit on Hawk. Let's hit on Ingram.
Let me double check. I just want to make sure Robbie Gould is healthy before I get burned.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to grab my defense here. This was something that I'm a little torn on what to do. I will not lie. But
wow.
It was between Cincinnati because Josh Allen's been a little meh with the football, but I'm riding Bills to win. So I'm gonna bet on Dak having a bad day against the Niners defense. So I'm taking the 49ers probably for their floor. So I'll take San Fran defense.
Yeah, no, wouldn't be surprised. Dak cooking up some turnovers. That's a classic act. So I'll go with the opposite here. The Bengals.
Yeah, I like them.
It's defensively, man. I don't. Some teams that it's there. I would take Philly, but I also took the Giants to win. So yeah, I'm going to double it down. We'll go with the Bengals defense.
Yeah. So with the Kittle pick, it threw me off a little bit. Starving for a wide receiver 2. The guys that come to mind are guys like Devonta Smith, who've had decent seasons with their team. But there's one guy who always seems to pop up in the playoffs, man.
Don't do it.
Oh, I'm doing it, Jake.
Take Devonta Smith.
I'm sorry, Jake, but this guy had 113 last year. Last year in the divisional round, he had almost 250 and 4 touchdowns. So I'm taking Gabe Davis, man. I'm riding with Diggs and Davis for an eruption. And T. Higgins did come to mind too, man, but he's been a little cold. So Gabe Davis for just hoping for another playoff eruption. He's really becoming like the Reggie Miller of fantasy playoffs, man. Just shows up for no reason. The Jimmy Butler of the fantasy playoffs. I'm going to guess Graham Gano.
Yeah, I'm glad you just said it for me. I didn't want to waste the oxygen if I didn't have to.
All right, Jake.
All right.
Who's ever left goes to you.
What's left goes to me. It's great. We're going to start with quarterback. We're just going to go top down. Start with quarterback. And QB1, I think the guy that has the best opportunity to put up points, we're just going to go Jalen Hurts. We're going to put it out there. Jalen Hurts.
Number 1 fantasy quarterback in the regular season. So
regular season. So can't really argue that one. And then going into who I thought you should have taken, I'm going to go Devonta Smith. Playoffs, defenses take cover of the main guy, and guy number 2 gets more involved. So
kind of like Gabe Davis.
I'm going to take Devonta Smith on that. And then with that, I'm going to go wide receiver 2, and I'm going to be taking T. Higgins. Probably one of the best overall wide receiver 2s in the league. So T. Higgins is my guy. Now, I really was hoping Travis Etienne could have stuck around. So this really hurts my RB performance here, but I'm going to take Zeke as RB1. And because I see no other option, I'm going to have to either take, I'm taking Tony Pollard as RB2. I have to take
wow. No Jerick McKinnon love.
Wow.
Oh, hold up. Can I redo?
Yeah, go ahead.
I meant to take, I forgot he was on my list here. Yeah, Jerick McKinnon.
I do
That's
want
what I'm going to go with.
everybody to know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been activated. as far as I know. So
I don't know if it's gonna matter.
I don't know if it
not gonna
matters,
matter.
but it could.
Yeah, he'll get a couple touches, but Jarrett McKinnon's low key. He's been kind of good.
Yep.
So
And then tight end wise, Kittle, I was hoping he'd slip mines here. But he didn't. So I'm just gonna have to go Hayden Hurst. I really just got a bummer of a tight end, but he's due for a touchdown. He can get me 10 points possibly. And then as my flex position, I'm gonna go. Did Joe Mixon get taken?
No, Joe Mixon actually.
That's
So-
surprise of the week.
Joe Mixon is my flex. My defense, I'm betting on the boomer bust here of it being a possible blowout for Philly. So I'm taking Philly's D. And then I'm going to double down with Philadelphia, and I'm taking Jake Elliott as the kicker.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. This team is a lot better than I initially thought it might be.
Same.
You're only really starving out at running back,
RB.
and McKinnon could make up for that
Go off.
if he plays
He could go
anything like he has in the past. But yeah, Zeke is but Devonta Smith. I'm assuming you wanted Gabe Davis to slide.
Yeah.
I thought about that today when I was going through it, and I was like, Jake is probably going to want Gabe Davis, and I don't think I can let him have it because
No, you got to
History.
win. Like, it's an
History, man.
exhibition match for me. So you got to win. So respect.
If Jake comes in and beats us with our scraps, we might need to reconsider everything actually.
Reconsider some guys and everything. Just,
Reconsider everything.
Bro, I might just retire or start spinning a wheel. Honestly, my analysis means nothing because I got the pick of the crop. It's still lost.
All right, I think we
But,
got. I think we got time for one each. Who he played for? We're running a little long, but Jake, you're the guest. Go ahead and see if you can stump the human encyclopedia, man.
all right. Well, human encyclopedia.
And for
Let's see if
football,
we
we do need to preface. You got to tell us offense or defense.
Yeah.
That's
He played offensive side of the ball. And he was drafted by San Francisco in 2006.
Oh,
And he
gosh.
retired from the NFL in 2019. So he played a good career, no longer in the league. And I'll kind of go through the journeyman level that he had. So he was on San Fran from 06 to 2014.
I may have this.
And then
I already got it. I think.
you both have it?
I might.
think
You
so.
got to finish.
If
it.
you say
I might.
Chiefs next, it's over. But
Okay. Well, then he went to so 2014 he was in he left San Francisco. 2015 he went to Denver.
all
Um,
right.
And then he was also partially on the team that year with San Francisco. But moving forward, he finished his career in Washington from 2016 to 2019.
This is not who I thought it was.
I thought for sure it was Alex Smith. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie
I
to
thought
you.
it was going to be. Well, when he said 2006, 2019, I thought it was going to be Frank Gore,
Oh,
but not nearly enough teams with Frank Gore. So it's San Fran, somebody, and then Washington. Who's the middle team?
that is
Yep,
a
so
great. That is a great player, dude. I got him.
He was a Madden
Great.
legend too. He was a Madden legend.
Fast first position, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, fast first position.
All right. We're
Yep.
good. Got him.
Unbelievable, man.
Love it.
Unbelievable.
Oh, that is great. I forgot he stopped in Denver. I really
Denver.
did.
Yeah.
How many years was he in Denver?
Just
Sure.
half a season essentially.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! And then Washington.
Yep, finished his career in Washington.
Yeah.
Made some crazy catches. I'll put that out there.
Yep. He knows Alex Smith, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Good old pals with Alex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's. I don't
You
remember where
totally
Vernon
know it is.
Davis went after San Francisco. Is it Vernon Davis?
You got it.
I don't remember him on Denver. I
Oh.
don't remember him on Denver or Washington. That is
Washington, I
unbelievable.
do. I think he was tandem with like Jordan Reed.
Yep.
But yeah, I really was like, oh, is that Alex Smith? But no, the Denver stop. Yeah. They all
Denver.
tracks. He might have been there like Julius Thomas. I don't know, actually. Julius Thomas went to the Jags. These are just random players at this point. I'm sorry.
Davis. That's a good
That's
pull.
awesome. That's
a good pull.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was gonna be Alex Smith. Okay.
Oh, man.
Hey, I come prepared.
That's
prepared.
respect, man. That's
Yeah.
I mean, if you make
Love
Christian
it.
dig deep. All right, I got one for you guys. And Jake, it's an offensive player. I won't do the years until Christian gets it. So
That's fine. It's fair.
those are the rules, man. But all right, so this guy was he's still in the league. Originally drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. He then spent a year after that, or he spent time with the Vikings. The next team he played for, he signed with the Falcons. And then the next team he played for, he signed with the Jaguars, and then he signed with the Seahawks. He was on the Seahawks this year.
I got it.
I figured you would.
Oh man. Vikings, Falcons, Jaguars. And you said offense?
Yes.
Huge draft list.
Hey. Shh.
It was a hint. I missed it. I'm so
I
mad.
might have it, man. I didn't think it was going to get by the Vikings super fan, but I thought I might be able to get it by the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Which should count for like 10 points if Jake gets it. Christian doesn't.
Oh my goodness. The Seahawks are so young. They're so young. Oh. I might need a hint, bro. I might need a hint.
You might have got him.
Drafted in 2016 by the Vikings.
So 6 years.
Can I add something?
I don't
about
want
the
you to
draft
take this
class.
moment.
It's about the draft class.
I don't want you to take this moment from me. No, because
Okay.
that will give it to him. that will give it to him.
Not...
I know what you're going to say about the draft class.
Well, that's an interesting one.
First round pick, I believe. Let me double check that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not like Matt Khalil comes to mind, but I know it's not.
It is not a lineman.
It's not even a lineman.
I got him, guys. I did it. Let's go.
Christian Pond. No.
Let's go.
Christian Pond.
Yes. Look at the gears spinning. Look at him.
They are. Don't look at me. Don't look at me, man.
He's so embarrassed. Luke, if you're listening, I did it, man. Luke.
We did it.
We did it.
He did it.
I can't. No.
Got to give him a timer here. Clock's ticking.
4 seasons with the Vikings, 1 season with the Falcons, 1 season with the Jaguars, and 1 season with the Seahawks.
I'm going to be so upset when I lose this one.
Let's go.
I'm going to be so upset.
I don't think you have a chance at this point. If you
I don't think I have a chance at this point.
All right, Jake. Jake, give it to him.
It's the late great Laquan Treadwell, baby.
Laquan Treadwell. Oh no! The Ole Miss bum. Oh,
let's go. Oh, that just made my day.
He's on Seattle. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I had no idea he even played for Atlanta. I think I might have seen he was in Jacksonville, but I thought he was out of the league this year.
He signed mid-season, I think, with the Seahawks this year, and he played 6 games.
That sucks.
I'm not even embarrassed.
He
didn't have his first touchdown until his second, half, almost to the end of his second season as a Viking. He was bad.
No, he was terrible with the Vikings. I just didn't think he was still in the league.
Drop passes. I mean, he was bad.
Yeah, how are you so physically gifted and bad at football? That's fine. But all right, no, that's I gotta tip my hat. That's my hypothetical hat.
He wanted to be DK.
Yeah, so bad.
Yeah,
so bad. He wanted to be so. No, it's all good. I guess that means I got the last guy for the night. Can't say can't say it's an easy one, but we'll see. He's young in terms of he was drafted in 2017 by the 49ers, and he's on offense. And I'll even clarify this. He's not a lineman. Drafted
The
2016 by the
You said
Niners. Yep. He was with
Okay.
the Niners in 2017, 2018, 2019. In 2020, he ended up signing with the Dolphins. Last year, he was with the Bills, and he is currently with the New York Giants.
Oh, man, I was really, really on that Raheem Mostert train, but nope. Yeah. No.
Oh, I know who it is.
I got it.
Oh,
I think I got it. I'm going to guess Matt Breida.
100% Matt Breida.
Jeez, that might have been my worst guy.
What a
that
day!
I pulled, man.
What a day! No
Wow.
way!
I don't know. Yeah, I know we don't keep score for
him
this.
in
but,
Miami.
Yeah. He's I'm not gonna lie to you. Even like Buffalo last year, like I remember being there, but the numbers are very, very underwhelming. He actually, in terms of career numbers, these last 3 seasons have been like his lowest. He was definitely the best with the 49ers, but yeah.
Wow.
Matt Breida,
What a day for
I didn't think it would
Christian.
be that quick.
What a day for Chen. A historic sequence of events just took place in the last 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
Wow.
All right. Well, that wraps our show, guys. Thanks again for listening. Be sure to check us out on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Jake, thanks for coming on. We're going to have to do it again sometime.
Heck yeah, man.
Probably after the Super Bowl, we'll have you on. We'll do
Super Bowl recap.
Yeah, Super Bowl recap. And then maybe a deep dive throughout the offseason into certain teams and their cap situations because you got good perspective, man, and you clearly know your way around the NFC North. So,
oh yeah, dude, I always love having a panel with these shows. So, you know how it goes, right? Yeah, off season's gonna be long. So,
but can I tell the people what I got going on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so hopefully within a week or two, I got myself. It's a little belated, but a little Christmas album coming out.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
On Spotify. So definitely a bass voice guy. Not Christian, but Caleb heard a little bit. I haven't got a verbal take, but I heard pretty solid.
It was pretty solid, man. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Bass.
I'll take a link too. I'll take a link. I listen to music all day long. I gotta drive in.
It's like a Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah. Oh,
with bass voice is a very good way of putting it.
Frank Sinatra, Elvis vibe.
Yeah. Fly me to the moon.
All right. The show is long enough, man. We don't got to punish the listeners anymore.
So long, I'm losing my sanity. All right. But no, I definitely want to listen to that. I am no musician, but I am definitely a music connoisseur, consumer.
What can we plug? Plug your Instagram.
Yeah, Spotify, music.
Yeah, I'll plug the Instagram in. It's _Jake Wes. So THE_JAKEWES would be the Instagram. Got a few posts on there, but I'm definitely if you see the one with me smiling in the suit, definitely that's the one.
Yes, sir.
Some of those photos will be the cover album. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to having you back soon. Talking off season and Super Bowl recap. And me and Christian will be back. Well, we'll be back for a reaction soon, or probably Tuesday for NBA Tuesday, since we're going once a week now with the NFL. So thanks again for listening, guys. And be sure to check us out on Tuesday. But yeah,
appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.
Take care.
Yeah.